So let's try that again. Pew, 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 pew.
What in the world?
I don't know. But
Okay.
I saw the little...
Okay, hold on. Excuse me, operators at Streamlabs OBS. I do not appreciate the fact that you guys change things every time we go live. If you're going to change some stuff up, like automatically mute microphones, give a brother a heads up.
Maybe have a little thing across it.
Thing across
You open it up.
Just sing across the bottom there would have been nice because I look like an idiot for about 35 seconds.
It wasn't that bad.
They messed with the volume again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait a minute. I wonder if...
That.
That's weird. Because I don't even know what microphone that is. I bet that's that microphone.
Uh-oh.
So, I don't know.
Can everybody hear us okay? Well, alright, good, sorta. Because they, obviously the mixer, they've messed with the mixer, so Jason's just now seeing that. Sounds better than usual as far as volume.
Okay.
Well, then we'll just leave it alone.
We're gonna leave it be there.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Now I gotta get that off. There we go. All right. Can hear you fine. All right. So we gonna roll with it. All right. So Mark Keeger, Hidden Within Myself, Mimsy's Garden, T.J. Millier, Cecilia Johnson,
T.J. Millier.
I said Miller. April Hill, Dawn Golf. Lisa B in the house. The Tinker's Wife. A Toad in the Garden. I already said April, right? Yep.
When you hit the mute, it muted you totally. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hit the mute.
Yeah, you did when you closed the one out and opened up the other one.
What you're talking about. Cecilia's still having trouble hearing us.
But I feel like Cecilia always has problems hearing
but
us.
I don't like that.
I know, but I feel like, you know, I've noticed this, like, even with my phone. Like, on some things, my phone, the speaker volume is not that great. And sometimes it's
I said Johnson?
I don't know, Jansen.
Jansen.
I answer to a lot of things, but the call to dinner I never miss. That's funny, TJ.
We don't know that's true.
So anyway, it's been a week.
Mama Z in the house.
We managed to get out 3 videos this week.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We got out 3 this week. You know what is hilarious, y'all? Sunday. Last Sunday, I spent most of the day filming stuff. Do you know not one of those videos
Heather Land
was one of the ones that y'all saw this week?
Okay, you gonna start busting my chops, and I'm gonna let everybody know why it takes a while for your videos to come out.
Why?
Okay, picture this, if you
Picture this.
You're on a homestead.
Wait, how do you do it? Like this.
You're in a
Picture
homestead
this.
in northeast Georgia. You enter the small home, and you walk in, and you notice there are production lights up
Everywhere.
And you see somebody in the kitchen.
It's no longer a farmhouse. It's a production studio instead of a house.
And you see somebody in the kitchen, and you're like, oh, they're doing something. But then you listen. And then you hear, I missed that. Okay, don't turn off the camera. Just give me a second.
Edit point.
Edit point. And then you see the person go, boop. And so you get about a 3-minute window of stuff that you got to put in the video, and then 25 minutes of poop laughter.
It's not true. So one time we were filming, and at the end of it, it was really bad, and so we thought it was two separate things, and instead Carol was like, well, I'll just delete it. And then I was like, did you just delete the whole thing? And she's like, oh no! So we had to go back and refilm the whole thing again. It was crazy. But we have one that we're working on right now, which I'm excited. Like, it's actually going on in the house right now. Pretty cool. When are you going to put that one out? Like 2 months from now?
I'm going to drink out of my new stainless steel straw that I got
Not
today.
here. Not here in the chat yet.
And I'm not going to mention their names since they're not here. So any of y'all that know the inside joke of that, earlier this week, I was on the road. You're not allowed to talk about it until they're here.
Whatever.
How you going to give somebody credit that's not even here?
I wasn't going to give her credit yet. I was just going to talk about it.
Well, no, you can't talk about it.
Okay, fine. Whatever. Stop. Shh.
This is real quickly going to go from a live stream talking about homesteading.
I did. So you better not wait 2 months on that video, because I've been waiting on this one.
This live stream is about to go sideways real fast, and it's going to go from a homesteading, gardening, self-reliant, self-sufficient live stream to the WWE, because there's about to be a series. There's about to be a series of DDT.
Jason, my brother, you making that shirt look good.
I'm rocking it. So, we've got about 31 folks in here. And I want to kind of clear the air about something. We put that video out about Apollo and what happened that week. And most of the comments that we got were positive. But we got a handful of negative ones, and I think I need to clear the air about
what was said
in the situation, because some folks were being keyboard commandos, and other folks, you could tell that they were honestly concerned. First off, yes, Apollo is my service dog. No doubt about it. Okay? But Apollo is also a Rottie. And a Rottie is a herding dog, a farm dog. It's in his DNA. It's in his blood. It's what he was bred to do. The PTSD, emotional support thing, is like a bonus. So if you look at it, let's just take it as like firearms. If you compare the two, if you take a regular M16 and that would be a regular Rottie that's a herd dog. Then you take the M16 and you slap a grenade launcher on it, it becomes a force multiplier. So then you give Apollo another set of skills that makes him more valuable.
Now, the other thing I want to say is that by being your emotional support dog, the dog is with you everywhere you go.
Right.
So, when you put him outside while you're out doing chores and an animal gets loose, before you even know what's going on, Apollo is a herd dog. Yes. So he's going to go herd the animal, whether you tell him to or not.
Yes.
So, and if you've been here, you know that happens regardless. Mm-hmm. It has happened with children. He has herded children before.
Yes. And it's, and look, it's not like we went out and trained Apollo to do some of the things that he does.
No.
We didn't. We noticed it. He did it one day with some of the smaller pigs. And we were like, okay, you just became more valuable on the homestead.
As if he wasn't already, but...
Right. But I mean, it's no different than...
It's a force multiplier, basically.
I mean, it's not really any different than realizing that you can have multiple purposes out of a barrel, or you can do multiple things with insert any tool, any livestock, anything. Pigs.
Well, here at the Big Bear Homestead, nothing we have has one purpose.
Right.
I mean, really.
And we were not out hunting the pig. So Apollo is not a hunting dog, so I really did not see the reason, or did not have, let me back up. I did not have the forethought to go and buy some type of a Kevlar vest to put on him. And let's be honest, with where he got popped, the Kevlar vest wouldn't have protected that anyway. Okay, the Kevlar vest goes over the chest and maybe a little bit up on the neck, but not behind the ear, because the dog still needs to be able to move his head. So it wouldn't have protected him anyway. It still would have happened.
Right.
He is doing a lot better. I think Cecilia asked. He doesn't even. I mean,
even from the beginning.
Even from the beginning, he did not act like it was that big of a deal. The wound is closing. They did not put any staples or stitches in, like I said in the video. They said because he's an active dog living on a farm. The activity level with him moving his neck around, playing, doing whatever.
I love you, DJ.
He stood a good chance of ripping them out.
Right.
And so the vet that knows Apollo extremely well, because she makes look, the Apollo's vet is unique.
We love her.
Yes. Matter of fact, just about any vet at Banfield.
At our Banfield.
At our Banfield. I don't know about the Banfields all around the rest of the country, so you may have had a Banfield and had a bad experience with it, and I'm sorry. But the one that we go to, we vetted in the very beginning, before when Apollo was a pup. And we only had like one issue, and that vet don't even work there anymore. And they love Apollo so much that when he goes in for just a routine checkup, it's an all-day thing. Why? Because they like to use him, and they got our permission, but he's on there. He's all over their Instagram page. He's part of. He's one of the one dogs. Now I'm probably sure that there's probably other ones, but Apollo never sees a kennel when he's there. His vet has a hook on her desk that she takes this little thin leash that's pretty much nothing more than a joke for Apollo.
Yeah.
And she puts him down on there, and he just stays with her the whole day.
Just lays right by her feet the whole time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they don't push a lot of things with Apollo. We and Apollo got our doc, his vet, open-minded to the use of essential oils for parasite control. She was we shared this story with you guys before in the past, but he was in good hands. We go off of their recommendation what to do. They're vets. They went to school. They got a lot of real-life experience, and they got a lot of Apollo experience.
Yeah, because we've had him there for like 3 years now. I love A Toad in the Garden says this is her first live with us, and that basically that they know that they're an Air Force. I'm not sure if it's a female or a male. I think it's a female. Is a U.S. Air Force vet, and that is familiar with a lot of people who have service dogs, and you know your dog better than anybody else. So you know what you think he's capable of and not capable of. Nobody else is going to know that like you would.
That's
true. And you would never put him in a situation you didn't think that he could, and there was also, Sherry and them are in here. And TJ also said, but you know as well as the rest of us how some of these people know every bit of your lives through an 8-minute video. So
Two Family is in the live stream, and
Wait a minute. I got to say one more thing. So, Anna said that I said everything was dual purpose, and she said that Jaja is only dual purpose, or is only single purpose. And Deanna was very quick to remind her that she lays eggs, and she's also my emotional support chicken.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That crazy bird is your emotional support chicken.
Female, yeah, Liz. I think I noticed it because you had just followed on Instagram, and so I think I remembered seeing your name as a female name. I just wanted to make sure because we have a tendency whenever it's a neutral, gender neutral name.
I love
hard.
you so much.
What?
I love you so much.
Why?
Because you did not take that opportunity to kick me under the bus right there.
Nope.
You said we.
I always say we. He doesn't get that.
We have a tendency when it's flat out me. I always say he, or she, and I'm dead wrong 90% of the time.
Yeah. Ask around, you'll get the same answer from any. Oh, I'm sure. So, earlier in the week, I was on the road. I stopped at a QT, and I went and got nice water.
See, and you know, I left that alone in that thing, but I'm kind of sitting back wondering. You know, I bought you that thing how long ago? 15 years ago. That Leatherman. You know, there's scissors in there.
I used them.
And it wouldn't cut a straw.
It would not cut the straw, and it's not scissors. It's the wire cutter. I don't have the one that has the little scissors on it.
Yes, ma'am, you
No,
do.
sir. I will go get it right now and show you. I do not have scissors on it.
Well, then that's not the one that I got you, because the one that I got you, I made sure it had scissors on it.
Are you kidding me? You're trying to tell me I don't know what you got me. Anyway, it had the little, like, in the middle of the needle nose pliers, it has a little, like, wire stripper kind of thing that you can, like, in the middle. And no, yours doesn't even have, like, mine has an actual, like, almost like a blade. It's, like, sharp.
That's what those are.
Okay, yeah. So I used that to try and, like, crimp it, and that did not work. So then I had to take my knife. I passed over the whole thing because you're distracting me. Okay, so I went and got a straw, and when I got my straw, I opened it up, and the one side was perfect, the other side was sealed like a pixie stick. So,
okay. Not many people probably in this chat can remember what a
of course they can.
Well,
Look at this age group.
Maybe D and Two Family can, but
no, a bunch of these people can. Anyway, so
because like the Tinker's wife, she's very young.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. She's like super young.
Anyway. So, so then I had this straw, and I'm like, and let's just say this, let's just get this out of the way, because I can't believe he hasn't said this. Why do you need a straw when you have a cup that has a hole in it that you can... I have a perpetual hole in my lip. Whenever I use one of those cups, I end up spilling half of it on my shirt, so I'm just saying.
And after 15 years of marriage, I have studied you enough to know that you are like somebody that just came out of the dentist and got Novocaine. Anytime you have a drink in your hand, you do. That your fighter?
Yes. So anyway, I got on this little Marco Polo group that we have, and I was just frustrated because I didn't want to walk back in there just to go get another straw. So I tried cutting it with my little scissor thing, and that didn't work. And I tried the knife, and that didn't work. I mean, it took an act of Congress, which we know right now is a really big deal, to pull that straw to where it actually opened up. So then I had to take it and put it on the other side, because of course I wasn't going to drink that side of it, right? Because it was like gangly, whatever. And so I put it on the other side, drank out of it. Well, in the middle of all of that stuff, what?
Wow.
Excuse me. So then in the middle of all of that, I broke the straw. So I had like little slits in the straw. So I had to flip it back around so that I could drink out of it because it submerged it in the water. So now I had to drink out of the side that was like rough. So it was like, it was a bad experience. So and
you know what that all of that was? That was Jesus trying to help you get to your step goal to make you walk back in there, and you just completely ignored the Lord.
And here's Mama Zeke. I can't tell you how funny this was. Like, I was in like rare mode. Like, who is in charge of quality control for this? Like, I was so hot about this. So fast forward to today. I get a package in the mail from Amazon, and it had a bunch of stainless steel straws so that I can carry one with me.
Wow. You gonna snatch it out of my mouth and not even have the courtesy to put it back in my mouth. I was in mid.
Anyway, it comes with like 16 straws. It came with like 16. So yes, I did let Jason have one.
I'm just getting my California on.
So anyway, I used to not really put a lot of stock in stainless straws, just because I thought the whole like paper straw thing and all that was just ridiculous. But for somebody who's on the road and needs to have a straw when they drink, it's gonna be nice to have.
You just gotta make sure you
straw.
keep it clean, because that's probably. I mean, I know we're blaming China for Corona, but you never know. It may have came out of California.
So the really cool thing that these came with the little brushes, so you can actually like clean through the straw and make it nice and clean. So, I think I fell asleep somewhere, because one minute they're talking about vets and the next is a story about a straw. Yeah. So
keep up, Homeland.
So anyway, so that was my
Scotland. I love them.
Daryl just said those can be used for emergency brake line fixer-uppers. No. No. Those
Transmission line. Fuel line. I don't know if they can handle the pressure for a brake line.
There really wasn't a transition, y'all. We saw that what's-her-name was in there, and
Freedom Homestead's in the house.
We saw that Sherry had arrived, and so we wanted to go ahead and say something about it before they
now,
went in there
is
anymore.
it Jack?
We have those straws and really like them. Okay, so how is Apollo doing? We kind of touched on this a minute ago.
He's the wound is practically almost scabbed over and closed, but he does the antibiotics he's on. Oh my sweet baby Jesus, the gas.
Oh yeah, as if it wasn't already bad, you know.
The Mindful Homestead. Okay, hold on. I have been binge watching
Jack.
The Mindful Homestead. If y'all haven't checked them out, I met them on Two Families channel review Monday night. If you are a content creator, you definitely got to be at Two Family on Monday night for their channel review. There is a tremendous amount of great information. I mean, Mama Z is kicking booty and taking names from everything that she's learning from there. But the Mindful Homestead, if you are thinking about getting a tractor, John Deere, Kubota, I don't care what brand name you're looking at.
Repeat after me.
It's Kubota.
Thank you.
That's what I said.
No, it's
What
not.
did I say?
You keep saying Kubota. Kubota.
I'm from Northeast Georgia. You're lucky I didn't call it Kombuta or Kabodi. Okay?
You do it every time. You always put that M in there.
It doesn't matter if you're going to buy the green one, the orange one, or before I was rudely interrupted, I was going to talk about the red one.
There's also a blue one.
But if you're looking at the orange one,
Camacho.
if you're looking at the orange one and you're seriously considering that one, I'm telling you, you need to go over to the Mindful Homestead. He has a whole playlist. And he is going into some great details with it. And, like, at first, I watched his, like, 5 things I hate. Or I dislike. He didn't say
Dislike.
hate. 5 things that he dislikes.
Hey, Mama Mitzi.
About the orange tractor. And I was like, and they were like, to me, at least to me, they were like major game changers in there. That at first I was like, no, I'm not getting the orange one. And then he put out that. See, then he played with my emotions, because then he put out the one, because I was talking to him about it, and I guess he felt guilty. Because then he put out the one that, like, 5 things that he likes about it. And I was kind of like, well, those are important things to me, too. And so then I was back on the fence. Then he did this other video about how he almost tipped it over. And you guys just got to go watch him. And I'm going to be honest. He's not easy on the eyes. I'm just saying.
Oh my
He
god!
got this big bushy beard and.
But you got a big bushy beard too.
No. You remember Grizzly Adams from back in the day?
Mm-mm.
This is his kid.
No.
He's like, and look, I think he's a really super cool dude, but he's probably gonna like block me from his channel after I get ready to say what I say.
I was just thinking that.
But he is like this.
This is why we don't have friends,
Right.
y'all.
He's like this big burly dude with
Mhm.
itty bitty legs. It's like he skipped leg day. But hey, they're good people.
Grizz is my dad.
Yeah. See? I knew it. He looks just like him. I mean, two.
Grizzly Adams was purdy.
Just saying. But you want some good information on tractors, and I'm starting to watch some of his other videos. Like, I'm picking on him because he got beat up by a chipmunk. Y'all got to go watch that video. That is absolutely hilarious. And he does some outside the box thinking. You know, so y'all go check him out. And look, what do you got to lose? Go check him out. I give you 100% money back guarantee. So, but I am so glad that he is here because I just if I got a orange. See, I'm not even gonna say the name anymore because you picked on me. If I have an orange tractor question, that's the first place I go to see if he
Repeat after me.
repeat after you.
Boocha.
No, orange.
Boat.
No.
Cabota.
No, I'm not doing it.
Cabota.
No. No, I'm not doing it. It's orange tractor now. That's the way it's gonna be from here on out. Orange tractor. Just like the place that you go get the books. Mm-hmm. That's the book
Chipmunk.
place.
Was that me and Robin? I know, right?
So.
Cash or credit only, no checks.
So y'all go check out his channel and show him some love.
So the weather this week, man.
Stupid crazy.
Yeah, we went from it being super hot at the beginning of the week.
It's like that every day. It's like the heat lamp starts to rise in the sky, and it gets to be about 9-10 o'clock, and then it's like God just says, you know what? The fat guy in Northeast Georgia, he's out there trying to do some stuff. Let me go ahead and help this guy lose some weight. And he like turns up the heat because then the sun is like, whoa. And boom. And then about what, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
Because of all of the humidity here and then the heat, then it's like,
pouring down.
Here comes the thunder. Trees are doing
rain.
like this.
Hey, Breakaway, what's up?
I was actually Crystal from Copper Kettle Farms.
Mm-hmm.
She poloed me about I think it was a predator. Anyway, she poloed me about something. And the wind was so bad that I knew I had to get to the house to be able to get the girls to be able to go underneath the house if we needed to. And so I told her, I said, hey, if I don't make it to the house to be able to get the girls, tell Robin that I love her and she was the absolute best thing that ever happened to me. Just in case I didn't make it, just at the funeral, just be like, the last thing he said was about you.
It's crazy hot here and the fires are not helping. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Mama Z was telling us about...
Oh, him?
What? Was telling us how her
TJ?
weather was like 102 and then with the heat index it was like 108. It's crazy.
Okay, so this is something that I learned about California people by talking to TJ Miller. Okay? This dude, right? When I was talking all about, the fires and stuff are all in the news and it's just crazy out there.
You should take this show on the road.
I'm talking to TJ and he brought up the fires and I'm like, dude, I even forgot that you were out there with the fires, right? And I'm like, are you okay? Is there anything that, basically, is there anything that we can do? I know we're a little bit too far for you to bug out.
We can, right. Mm-hmm.
To, you could go to a different part in California and maybe, Blaze can hook you up, set you up someplace out there, something. And he takes me outside, right?
Oh, God.
He's telling me Ash is falling down, right? And he's like, it's not really that big a deal. It's got a long way to go before it gets here. We just get some ash in the back. He flips his camera around, right? In the distance, like from here to what it looks like may be the guide stones.
Okay.
You see the smoke. It's just coming up like, wow. Right? And he's like, well, there's a fire over there. I got to go over to that mountain range over there to go to Walmart. And then there's the other one that's right over here. And you see him. And he's like, but they got to go through a lot of desert before they get to me. It's a lot of sand there, Jason. It's a lot of sand. So they ain't gonna... I said, the next time you talk to me, we're going to be talking about something else. And you're going to be like, they got a lot of glass to go through. Just a lot of glass. And
he said, yes, we're okay. The fire is north 60 miles, and the other was 65 south west of us. So it may seem like it was close, but 60 miles is a good bit.
Yeah, but he's in the middle. If these two fires decided that they wanted to team up and just come and high-five each other, boom.
Whole lot of desert from here to there.
That's what he kept saying.
There's just a lot of sand that's just got to go through a lot of sand, Jason. I just don't know what to say.
I'm like, the next time we talk, you're going to be like, that's just a lot of glass that it has to go through. And he completely missed that
joke. Because of the heat with the sand. You're funny. You're so smart.
Science class.
You're so smart.
Yeah. Oh, so... Yeah, so that's on the... It's like when you talk with Mom and...
Holy crap!
What?
Anna said that one day this past week, their heat index was 118. I know, I was talking to Dee this week, and she said it was too dang hot to be out doing anything. Like, it was just...
You know, and it's like when you talk to, like, Mama Donna, who's in Hurricane Alley. Mm-hmm. You know, she's like, it's like, hey, do you guys want to come here? The wind's only going to be 150 mile an hour.
Well, and you know, this last one that was landfall was really strange. Like, I've never heard of this doing this before, but the way that North Carolina sits out on the Atlantic Ocean, the hurricane came in and just barely, like, it came in and, like, they were right here. It went like this. And so, and then it turned, and so it totally missed them. And I was like, why? How does that even happen?
You know, I'll tell you exactly why. Because she went out on her porch, and she went, icy ears, you don't come around over here because I am canning, and I can't lose power on my pressure canner. That's Mama Donna.
If they get closer, I'm going to put the dogs and the kid in the car, grabbing Dad, and we're going to Vegas.
There you go.
Susan Baker.
What's going on? So, as we go through, this is the transitional time on a homestead. Right now, this time of year, it's almost like if you want to put it in editing software or editing for a video thing, we're in the middle of the cross dissolve.
You're funny.
We're going from the spring and summer garden and cross dissolving into the fall garden and starting to prepare our livestock and stuff for the wintertime.
But you know what's crazy? So I am like super guilty of this. We have a lot of things because of how long our growing season is. We still have some warm weather stuff that we can still put in the ground.
Hold on. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you, bad boys, bad boys? What's up, Cattywampus?
So the problem is that we're looking at my wonderful little app that I have, and it's still telling me like I can still put bush beans in the ground.
You need to talk about that app because that app is kind of crazy.
I'm gonna do a video about it. I want to do a video about the app and also my little square. So I want to kind of like, I actually want to like show people what it is, how it works, because I absolutely love it. I wouldn't be able to do half of what I've been doing this year if it hadn't been for that app.
Wives love the app. Husbands, not so much.
I don't know though, because there have been a couple times you're like, hey, go look and see, go look and see what we can plant.
Commando
today.
1911, how you doing, sir?
Or ma'am. Whichever you are.
Okay. But, I mean, you get Commando 1911.
You never know. I was in Dollar General this week and they had Halloween decor. Yeah, they have Halloween candy out at Walmart.
Yeah.
We've already seen that.
Which makes it very interesting.
Yeah.
All you hear on the news is how this second wave of the Mr. Trips or whatever you want to code name call it here on YouTube, so YouTube don't shut your channel down.
Pandemic.
Is coming, and there's going to be a whole bunch of panic buying. Like today, went to Walmart to look for your water.
Toilet paper's the new candy for trick or treating.
That would be absolutely awesome.
That's funny.
That would be awesome.
Tread lightly, Jason.
But you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm just thinking about how you I could see me. Okay, let me just reverse this around. I can see me having this dilemma at Walmart. Toilet paper or Reese's peanut butter cups?
Yeah. You can't eat TP. Patrick, whatever you feel like calling me. Okay. Sir. Gotcha.
I can see. Look, some people get addicted to crack, meth, Reese's peanut butter, anything. Reese's Pieces, Reese's peanut butter cups, Reese's peanut butter cup blizzards, and tacos. That's why I'm fat.
Any kid wrapped in toilet paper to be a mummy will be mugged to their outfit. I think people should drive around and throw kids candy at Halloween.
Now, see, that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun.
But it could also be dangerous because then there's people like me that would get like PVC.
Like the potato launcher. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you want my Reese's peanut butter cups? Mortar round. Clear. And you could.
Gotcha.
Or you go to the sports arena, you break into the mascot's locker so you can get the t-shirt gun, and then you're just spraying and praying with candy. Then you.
Yeah. Strange how some of the posts are like that. Anyway, so
Back to the cross dissolve.
right. So what I was going to say is that with our growing season being as long as it is, we can still have a couple of things still going. So
we got calf high corn, our second round of corn out there.
Yeah,
calf high.
We have corn out there. We're starting more bush beans.
Speaking of
squash, zucchini, like we can still grow quite a bit of stuff right now. And so, but the dilemma has been, do you tie up that bed until it's almost too late to go ahead and plant the fall garden, winter garden, or do you go ahead and start jumping on planting the fall stuff? So
right. Well, also, and let's just be honest, in northeast Georgia, our weather can be a little bit of a diva.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're in 80s right now. But come Monday, we're supposed to be back up in the high 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do? Well, one of the things that we're doing is we're starting a lot of the winter stuff inside where we kind of keep it...
permaculture, what's up?
At the comfortable level, our comfortable level, the 78 degrees inside the house, is what the fall stuff would enjoy more of anyway. And so we're going ahead and kind of getting that jump start. So then that way, when we finally stop these 90-degree days, we can put them outside so that way they don't bolt.
So, but I have my 2 cents on this. Last year, in September, I started trying to grow the stuff that needed to go outside. And none of it survived because we were still in the 90s in October last year.
Right. But we have to own some of that because we should have took some of those and transplanted them into bigger pots, and we just didn't do it. We left them where they were, and then it was like a big welcome to the jungle in there. And we should have transplanted some of those into pots. And that's what
the problem is that we had already transplanted them and moved them into cups, but then we would have had to keep potting up because we still had like a month and a half before we could put anything in. Yeah, some years it was hot through the middle of October. I didn't even feel like putting up my fall decorations.
You said pot so many times in one sentence. Snoop Dogg's gonna come into the chat now.
But it's just one of those things. Like right now, we put Swiss chard out, and we put it out in a bed.
And I got one. I got one little baby.
No, you got more than one.
I only saw one.
No, there's more than one. But all of those guys are starting to pop out. Now, do I think that it's possible that some of those will die back and then come back with a vengeance, like once it gets cool? Yeah.
I'll tell you, our Swiss chard last year was like something out of Jurassic Park. Some of those leaves on them bad boys was
they were like
historic.
Yeah, they were huge.
And you were going over there and she was clipping them. Okay, this is all a dude's point of view right here, but if you are remotely closely like my wife, please listen, because this can make some WWE action happen at your house, because there was a couple times I just wanted to suplex my wife. She was going Swiss chard, and they were getting big and beautiful, and I was ready.
And the whole bed was like just full. Like you couldn't tell where each plant was. It was just one big, like you could have just taken scissors and just cut the whole. Yeah. I mean, it was.
And massive. Robin was out there like this harvesting. She was out there. She was like. Cutting them all. And she gathered them up like this and walked to the pig pen.
And Jason was so excited thinking we were going to have
I thought we was going to have Swiss chard for dinner. She starts walking to the one pig pen. And there's Han. Han just waiting on her. Our big boar hog, the one that got Apollo. He climbs up on the pallet fence and just sticks his big old grape over there. This one starts handing him Swiss chard. And he's there like... He looked like a catfish out of water.
Mm-hmm. He loves it. When we decided to finally pull it up so that we could replant the bed with something else, I took the plants over, and like he
got to the point he waited for you to come home every day.
And he would grunt. I would get out of my car, and you could hear him.
Yeah, he'd be standing up on the pallet. Like, feed me, mama, feed me.
It was so funny. And so, funny thing, Commando says that's how my rainbow chard turned out. That's what we had, was the rainbow chard. And that's after 3 prior harvests. Same with my Russian red kale. So, I'm pretty sure that's what I have, kale-wise, in that bed. We actually had it there, and we had harvested some, and I didn't realize like how much we had, so I had only cut like maybe a quarter of the bed. So then it grew back, and then the more came. Well, then we had the cows in the front yard over my birthday weekend, and they mowed it down. Like Daisy came in and just mowed it to the ground.
It was so funny. All of the younger cows and steers, they would nip at it, and they're like, oh, that's kale.
Yeah, they didn't want to eat it.
And they didn't have nothing to do with it. All the dude cows and the baby cows, they want to have nothing to do with it. Here comes the old mama cow.
Yep.
Daisy, she walks over there to it, and she just mowed it down. Like she just boom, and I'm like, well, they ain't got to pull up the kale.
That's exactly what we were thinking. We're like, well, because when she went over there, I don't remember who it was telling me, oh, she's going to get into it. I was like, I don't really care because we're ready to pull up the bed anyway. Go ahead, let her.
That stuff should be bitter anyway.
Yeah. No.
And now?
Sitting in the rocker in the living room, all of a sudden, cow. There's a cow. Yeah. But she was eating the kale, and we were like, okay, well, she'll take care of the bed for us, no big deal. We came out there like a week later, and there's more kale.
There's more kale in that bed now than when we planted it.
The plant just won't die.
No, as Bruce Willis of kale.
So now I'm a little hesitant to plant more because I'm like,
I want to get the walking stick kale, and the
yeah,
reason.
but with that one we're gonna
Okay, hold on,
to...
stop. Hi, Farmer Meemaw. Hey, y'all, it's Farmer Meemaw, and today I've been so busy that she's been trying to get my attention, and I've just been so busy that I guess I haven't caught it or whatever, and she thought I was mad at her, but I wasn't.
Tinker's wife, I really feel like that's what it's going to be for us. I feel like kale is a perennial for us.
Yes.
Because it's not even getting bitter. And that's the thing that's blowing my mind is I just figured it would go bitter. Let's see. Now they're talking about rolling blackout.
Okay,
oh.
Lisa B had trouble with deer. I'm going to look, everybody pay attention. Okay? Pay attention. What?
I already heard it. So
I'm going to give you the best way to keep deer out of your garden. Now, don't go getting all soft on me, okay? One, during hunting season, thin out the herd. Okay? Deer's good.
Yeah.
If you need some dehydrating jerky recipes, I'll got you back. But just go get a box of those portable electric fence posts.
Electric fence posts.
Get you some, or go to Gallagher, www.GallagherUSA.com / whole bunch of stuff. Anyway. And order either their S10 or their S40. S40 is going to give a bigger punch, but the S10 should do. Okay? Then, run yourself 3 or 4 strands.
Yes, Swiss chard is delicious.
Okay? Mostly in the top one so they won't duck underneath it. But this is how you get them not to duck underneath it. Take aluminum foil. Fold it in half. Just little 1-inch, 2-inch square. Fold it in half. Put peanut butter on one side.
No, we don't have Sika deer.
Okay? And then place that over your electric line. Now, don't put so much peanut butter on there that it sags the line. You just need a little bit because you want them to lick it. And aluminum is going to zap them because it's going to conduct the electricity. And they're going to be licking the peanut butter and then they're going to be like, ha ha ha, and
take off.
They may poop a little and then they're going to take off.
That's
okay.
Then
they are going to register that area with pain.
No
it bit
zone.
Me. I'm not going anywhere near it. That's super danger.
Yep.
And it'll end it till next year or till they've been gone away so long that they forgot, and then they got to come back and do it again. But most of the time that takes you through the whole gardening season. You get 1 or 2 of them because deer communicate because they're a herd animal. They will communicate, except for during the rut. They will communicate with each other.
It's John, I think. I set up as a living scarecrow, jumped down with my Bowie knife, and flop.
And it works.
Yeah, so like Swiss chard, we have Swiss chard, or not Swiss chard. The Swiss chard and the kale we had planted last September.
Yeah. So I want to get back walking stick kale. I really want to grow that.
Right, but we have to anchor it.
Okay.
It has to have a pole.
Okay.
And almost like how you set up your corner posts for the smart fence.
Okay.
Okay. Just so you know.
I got no problem doing that. Because one of the things that when we went to go visit Baker Creek.
Yes.
And that's Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds.
Rareseeds.com.
www.rareseeds.com. They give us some information, and they had one. And we got a picture of one. Now,
I feel like we have seeds for it.
Oh, that would be so nice.
I feel like we do.
But one of the cool things...
Hey, Brenda!
One of the cool things with walking stick kale is that once it's done, you can take the stem and it's strong enough that you could use it as building materials.
Yeah, it's pretty sturdy.
Yeah.
So, Mama Z said she wants to do garlic. Yeah, we'll be planting garlic at the end of September here. And I think basically what we're going to end up doing, because I think a lot of places are having a shortage, not surprising at all. I think we're probably, because I haven't used any of the garlic that we grew.
Yes, like bamboo.
We're going to go ahead and just replant everything that came up. Because we had a really good garlic harvest, and I think we're just going to put all of that back in the ground and just totally multiply.
And one of the things like that I'd like to do is grow enough of this walking stick kale that I could build like a Gilligan's Island hut. Just have my own little hut, put a hammock up in there, made out of walking stick kale, so I can just go and relax. Take it down there by the creek.
You're silly.
I could make a shooting house that could be my ground blind. And then the deer wouldn't think anything of it because it's going to smell like kale.
Well, maybe you should just grow the kale and let it, like, kind of fall on each other to make you a hut. So then that way...
But then when I'm hungry out there during deer season and knowing my luck, a deer going to be coming along, going to see my hand reaching up there plucking the kale.
Or maybe the deer comes up to the kale to feed on it and then you can just ooga-booga it, like, real quick. You could do your spear hunting that you want to do.
I could be like Schwarzenegger in Commando and just take my K-bar through the pieces of the walk.
Yeah. So we can do onions at the end of this month. So we will definitely be planting onions. And that's probably when I'm going to do the video on what we were talking about earlier with the app and also the square.
I mean, you made a comment before I got on the tangent about the walking stick kale that you're not surprised that there's shortages of all these seeds.
Yes.
I am excited that there's a shortages of seeds, and this is why.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that means we have so many new first-time gardeners, or so many folks coming back to gardening, coming back to homesteading, that for me, that's exciting. I really find that. I find joy in that. I find peace in that. Because whether they're a first-time gardener or they're coming back to it, they're coming back or they're finally getting on the road to true freedom. Because there is so much joy that comes out of picking that tomato out of your front lawn.
Like dinner that we're getting ready to have.
Biting into it, just letting the juices run down into your beard, and your taste buds are like, oh, because there's so much flavor in that. Or some of the cool things that you get to experience for the first time eating raw, like okra, which you won't do, but it's very tasty. But you're a texture person. You can't get past the texture. I get that. I understand. It's more for me and Dustin. Or
it
beans.
Pisses me off because then I try to go outside and go get some okra to make okra fries, and there's none out there.
Like, you are growing these rattlesnake beans that every time I walk out, I have to stop myself from harvesting because they're like rattlesnake, and they're like that stinking long right now, and I'm like, oh, they're not ready. But I always run over there and go, oh, they're gonna be
Well,
dry.
they have to dry. They're a dry.
Yeah.
They're a dry bean, so I'm waiting for them to all go dry. I agree. Many Facebook gardening groups have grown exponentially, and the first-time gardeners looking for help. Yes, it is definitely cool.
And that's
so TJ said they won't show up because you peanut butter shocked them. The deer, because you just
and so there is so much with this lifestyle. I know we're in the cross dissolve phase of this lifestyle, and there's not really much that you can go into detail about because you're harvesting stuff and you're canning it and you're freezing it and you're dehydrating it and you're freeze if you're lucky and you got a freeze dryer, you're freeze drying it, or you're just flat out having to just give your kids an elbow, stop eating the food, we got to put it up. Or you have to tie your kids down because you got to beat them to the garden to be able to harvest the food, to be able to put it up.
It's like I just saw on my app that we can start planting peas, and I'm like, oh dear Jesus, help me now.
I used to love planting peas for LaDessa because LaDessa would get so giddy when the peas and stuff would come up.
Because she had one little bed,
yeah.
like one long bed with some fencing, and so that was, and they would do okay.
Mm-hmm. But now, some of you guys that are in the chat box, you're new. I go get acupuncture because I got some injuries while I was in the Marine Corps, and so I do not want to take any type of opioids or pain medication or anything like that. They were giving me a steroid, and between that steroid and tacos are the reason why I exploded with my weight the way that I did. Mostly, I say the shot. Reality says tacos, but
and Whoppers and double Whoppers.
No, was not the double Whopper. But anyway, and that's one of the reasons that we started kind of, dipping our toe in this lifestyle many, many moons ago. But anyway, my doc, my acupuncturist, which, by the way, Sherry, he is looking for you. I didn't forget about you. He has this little angel.
She's adorable.
And
she's 5.
She's 5.
Or 6, that's something.
And she absolutely loves coming here, which just warms my heart because all of our beds are, she's on the spectrum. Okay. But she brings so much joy to this homestead. It's like you kind of want to kidnap her and just let her stay for like a week or so. She just brings so much energy and so much joy to this homestead that it just I hate when she has to leave. But for example, I'll tell you how much joy she brings. When Naturally NC came down for the chicken processing class, they were here. Okay, she loves the water.
Water is her thing.
Water is her thing. We took an old water trough that we had. Carol cleaned it out, and she filled it with water from the well. And I was like, Carol, get it out in the sun. Because again, a lot of y'all are new. We designed, was our first year here, okay? We did a Homestead redneck white trash swimming pool.
Out of the bed of a truck.
Okay, which means we took tarps that had duct tape on them, and we put them in the bed of the truck and duct taped them to the bed of the truck. And what made it the white trash is how that poor truck looked with all that duct tape on it. But and then we filled it with water from the well. Okay? I didn't think anything of it. My well's 300 plus feet deep because it hits an underground river. And the girls went out there and
we were sitting on the edge with
their feet in, and they were like,
"Night, Mamsie.
This is so good. This is so good. This is so good." And so I jump up on the side of the truck and I just roll to go to make a big splash to be funny. Well, the hair on my body, mostly the hair on my back, touched the water first, and it sent off an alarm like boop, 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 boop.
His back arched, he come right back up out of the water.
By the time my oversized buttocks hit the water, my soul was 20 feet above, and I was looking down at myself, trying to do this funky chicken to try to get out.
And not hurt himself, right. Because that's the other thing is it's, you're up off the ground, so coming off the side of it and not falling and hurting yourself.
And so I actually had an out-of-body experience with that because that water was so cold.
So
Okay,
bad.
this little girl made me look like the schoolyard sissy. Okay, because she jumped
Into the trough.
into the trough like it was no big deal. She did like a swan dive. She was like,
and then sat in it, was pouring
pouring
bottles of water
waters over her
herself.
head, just giggling and laughing.
Her dad went over there and was like, honey, are you cold? And she's like, no.
Her lips were blue. I said, we got to give that child a break. And she was just having the time of her life in that. And it was, her laughter is contagious. Okay? So, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about putting the peas in is because she absolutely loves them.
Well, she loves texture.
Yes.
Because being on the spectrum, she loves color and she loves texture. So, when we had the kale is kind of like scratchy, so she would put her hands over it, and then we were planting lettuce, and so she could run her hands across the lettuce and the leaves would pop, on her hands. So we took her over to the peas, and she, could see them because they were climbing really high, and so she could see them, and they were different colors, and I pulled one for her. At first I asked her mom, like, is this okay? She's like, yeah, absolutely. Because I figured that the texture of it when she bit into it she would love that. So of course she grabbed the sugar snap pea, put it in her mouth, and she was just like she laughed at it as it popped in her mouth.
Hey, Off Kilter Homestead, thanks for coming to the show.
And so then it was trying to keep an eye on her because she wanted to keep, and if you've ever harvested peas, like, they can be a little tricky. Like, we got to the point where we just started taking clips and just clipping them instead of trying to pull them off. So she would go over to the beds and try to start pulling them down, so I'd have to go over there and clip them for her, but she loves
She'd walk
peas.
out of there, she looked like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, her mouth just full. She loves
full
them.
of them. And she was, well, I already shared a story about what her mom did with the eggs.
Yeah.
Scared the bejeebus out of me.
Anyway, so we love having her.
And we learned through her that Jesus loves collard greens.
Mm-hmm. She said something this time around. Dee, do you remember, Nana, do you remember what she said something? And I was like, and don't forget, Jesus loves collard greens.
Well, she looked at you because you're not Miss Robin.
Mm-mm.
You're Miss Chips.
Yes. Yeah, so okay, we're out there in the yard, and
First time Robin could have a grandparent moment here and failed miserably.
so the very first time they had talked to her about the water, and I told them that we had a creek. So they went down to the creek, so that was a big deal. So then the second time they came, she remembered the creek.
Mm-hmm.
But we also had chips and salsa and dip that day. So now she associates our house with the creek and the chips. So when we were out there, we were talking about the water. She was kind of getting a little irritable about not having the water, so we fixed that with the trough. She was in there and she was doing great, having fun. And was it before or after? It must have been before that. I think it was before that. So
I think
we
it was
first
after that because it was after her mama changed her. And
Changed her,
she
okay.
You said, Miss
Well,
Chips, Miss Chips.
Either way, she made a beeline for the house, and we were all up in the front kind of pasture area. And so she takes a beeline for the house, which of course there's nothing bad in the house. So I'm like, well, let's go to the house. So she opens up the door, she opens up the other door, she goes straight into the dining room, sits down at the table and says, Miss Chips, Miss Chips, Miss Chips. And I was like, oh my God, the one time I don't have chips and salsa when we have company over.
Lisa B, good night. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
So yeah, so that was pretty funny. But
yeah.
So it is 9:00. We have not had dinner yet. Our dinner came out of the garden.
Yes.
Tomatoes, the peppers. So I had some peppers that I thought I planted jalapenos, but I am finding out very quickly they're not jalapenos. They are green peppers. Long green peppers, kind of look like a poblano, kind of. But they weren't spicy. The green ones were not spicy. Well, then I had one that turned red. And so I was like, oh, it's no big deal. I grabbed it, went to chop it up for salad on Friday, and took a bite out of it and was like, holy crap, same pepper, burning my mouth up. Like, what happened?
So you got one that was hot?
Yeah.
And you didn't share it?
I did. I gave you some of it. You're like, oh, it's got a little bit of heat. You always like to give me a hard time. Exactly. It was hot for me. But it was just crazy that 1 minute it was, like, the green ones were not hot.
Last year was crazy. What's up, C. Dean?
Hey, C. Dean, what's up?
Last year was crazy when you brought in that bell pepper.
Yeah, well, I didn't come home right away. It was like lunchtime, and Carol was cooking lunch, and she cut the top off the pepper and went to pull the seeds out through the pepper seeds in the compost, then grabbed the top ring because, you know, that one's kind of hard to chop up to put in anything, so you usually eat that, right? So she went to grab and eat part of it, and just, like, eyes went out, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? She's like, oh my God, I'm so hot. I thought she was just being dramatic, so I'm like, let me try it. I ate some of it, and I had the absolute same reaction. So this one is like, oh, you guys are wusses. So I gave it to him, and he's like, oh, why is it hot?
That one was kind of...
So it was a green pepper that had cross-pollinated with a cayenne. And so it was a very, very hot green pepper instead of a bell pepper. So that was really weird. So, another cool thing before we leave, we had our first round of lemongrass tea last night. Yes.
Off the chain.
Jason tagged me in a post yesterday that subsequently it was actually posted by Baker Creek, rareseeds.com. And I looked at the video and was like, I thought with lemongrass you had to use the roots. I guess I got that and echinacea kind of mixed up or whatever. So we have these beautiful lemongrass plants that are like, you know, they're like arched up and falling over, like they're beautiful. And so I looked at this video.
And now you've been out there cutting them, so now they look like Tim Beverly's hair just thinning everywhere.
So I cut it and we kind of wrapped it up. I put it in a pickle jar, a gallon pickle jar. And we also added stevia, which we're growing right now, and spearmint. And we put like a little stalk of each one of those in there. Poured it hot yesterday and had hot tea. And that was really good. But then this morning, it had steeped overnight. And this morning, I poured it over ice. And it's very refreshing. It's like, a very refreshing
If
drink.
any of y'all, when you go out in town and you stop at a gas station and you just got to get something to drink and you buy that Lipton green tea.
Yeah, it tastes very similar to that.
It tastes exactly the same. Because that's what I used to get because there's like no calories in it. And there's no sugar in it. And so, you know, it's good to go. It tastes... almost identical to it, and
So addressing the spearmint, I don't like concentrated spearmint, is what I'm finding. We actually unearthed a plant at the beginning of the growing season this year from over by the milk, when they were doing the milking barn and getting the milking stanchion. They found a sprig of spearmint that was growing. They thought it was mint, but it was actually spearmint. So we grabbed it, planted it in with the lemongrass, and then also a tomato plant. Now, I know that sounds really weird, but I guarantee you, companion planting, those three work together. And it has worked very well, because my bed is literally a 3-foot by 3-foot bed, and we have two just absolutely crazy lemongrass plants. Like, they're all over the place. And then we have a spearmint plant that has taken over the bed as well. And I still have one of those creamberry tomato plants growing up the back of it. And they're all doing super well. But anyway, so we took the lemongrass, I cut it, put it in there, put the spearmint in there. And I've noticed that with the spearmint, as long as it's not like super concentrated, like I'm in a car and somebody's chewing spearmint gum, or somebody spills the spearmint essential oil in my house, as long as it's not that strong, apparently it's not a problem. Now, I will walk by the plant, and it does kind of, I have to kind of, but the thing is with that tea, I literally put a sprig about that long with the leaves on it, and that was it. So, I put that all in there, put it on hot, and then we just closed the lid and let it sit off to the side for a little bit. And I'm going to tell you, it was really good. Now, this next time, instead of the full thing of the stevia, I'm probably only going to do half, because I don't know if any of y'all have ever used stevia in hot tea. I don't know about cold tea, but in hot tea, it does not take a lot to get the flavor. So, do the tomatoes taste like regular tomatoes or a little lemony? Regular tomatoes. Yep. They taste absolutely regular. Now, I put the lemongrass at the front of the bed, then I put the mint in the middle, and then the tomatoes across the back. So it's a little bit different, little bit of space, but yeah, like Mama T was saying, lemongrass can get huge. This one is it's grown up and it's falling over. It's very big. And so that was the other thing is I was like, well, we've got all of this lemongrass. What are we going to do with it? Well, now I know what we're going to do with it, because I can make tea just about every day with it. And then I'm finding out that lemongrass has some pretty therapeutic properties that are things that I was actually looking for. Now I'm finding out that lemongrass tea will actually help with those things.
And it just, again, re-emphasizes how awesome God is, because He put everything that we need here on this big blue ball for us to be able to take care of ourselves and live healthy, productive lives.
Yep.
And it's just another way that He shows us that He loves and cares about us. And it's just when you really start putting things together, and you see everything that the Lord has done for us, and His love and compassion for us, and every little turn that you make, especially in this lifestyle, God is awesome. And I praise Him and I love Him for all that He has done for us and everything He's going to do for us in the future.
Oh yeah, I mean the amount of food that we've pulled out of our front yard this year, that's not us. And we didn't have all of our beds planted either. So, and we've pretty much been able to go out there just about every day and pull stuff. Like tomorrow we're having pork. It's like garlic pork bites with fresh green beans. So the kids and Jason have been instructed this past week to not touch the green beans, because they'll walk by the bush beans and grab them and eat them. And I'm like, do not touch the green beans, because Friday or Saturday we need to go ahead and pull the green beans for Sunday's dinner. Like, get it in your head. So, back to the beans. You were talking about the long beans. You were calling them the rattlesnake beans. They're long beans. I think they're the Chinese mosaic or one of the long beans. But whatever it is, because somebody was saying they use them as snap beans. I pulled one because it had already dried. And when I pulled the seeds, they are super cool looking. They're black and white. And so I was like, and they're not a black-eyed pea. They look a little bit different. And so we went ahead and I'm letting them dry on the vine because we didn't have any dry beans. And so this is definitely a dry bean for us that I'm going to store off to the side. Yeah.
Speaking of beans and things, we are looking to swap with somebody. If you have Cherokee Trail of Tears, the black bean.
The black beans.
Any black beans, we just throw Cherokee Trail of Tears out there. And any seed potatoes. I can't find seed potatoes anywhere. And
reach out to us and let us know.
Reach out to us and let us know if you've got them, and maybe we've got something that you're looking for, and we can do a swap, and I'll definitely make it worth your while for that.
So Broussard was saying take the long beans and saute with garlic and honey. Ooh, I bet that would be good. And again, I planted more of the long beans. They're up at the other bed, and they're the ones that are starting to climb up the trellis. So those will be coming soon, and those I planned on harvesting those as actual like snap beans, so that we could do that. But I'll tell you, those it's pretty cool because the dry beans that we've pulled so far, they don't really look like beans. They almost look like a pea. So that's
I noticed that a certain group or channel from North Texas finally decided to show up.
Organic potatoes can be planted if we can find some organic ones.
Yeah. They gotta have eyes in them.
Yeah.
The Naked Gardener. If you guys missed the Homesteading Life conference, they do a jam up video of their time at the Homesteading Life conference. So if you're curious about the Homesteading Life conference, go check out the Naked Gardener channel and check out their video on the Homesteading Life conference. So
he has some really good videos, like
a lot
of instructional stuff.
Because now his head's going.
I mean, it's already big, so.
I mean, it's got like a big pack of hot dogs.
We found his
lately.
doppelganger on Instagram this week.
Yeah, but that guy was skinny. I'm just saying.
Anyway.
It was like what Sydney would look like if he had a neck. On that note, you guys, remember, we're in the cross dissolve season, so if you're thinking about dipping your toe into the homesteading lifestyle or the gardening lifestyle, right now you're thinking fall garden, don't hesitate. Do it. Go after it. There are so many good channels out there that can help you.
Night, Cheryl.
The Naked Gardener channel, Cattywampus, Two Family, Broussards, us. There's Wanderlust. There's so many good channels out there that can help you get going in your journey. Then you got to learn how to cook them. Hey, head on over to Mama Z's channel. Come back to us. There's all different types of channels out there that are doing cooking and gardening and homesteading. And you got them from people that have just kind of started, been doing it a little while, and people that's been doing it forever.
Well, and everybody has their different way of doing stuff.
Right. And in different parts of the country, do different things. There is absolutely no way that I could grow the same way that Broussard Homestead grows. There's just no way to do it.
Samson Farms, though, they are they are a what not to do. But see, even that is learning something.
Yeah.
Like, I always get frustrated.
Wow, you're just gonna agree with the man. The man's got some good videos, but you're just gonna be like, well, he kicked himself.
I'm still picking on him about okra. Like, I still think that's hilarious.
He kicked himself under the bus, so now you're like the little Nazi guy going, get back in there,
I was so excited when he issued his challenge on okra this year. I was like, I'm not going to do it. But then my okra started growing, and I was like, dude, I got some really cool okra. I want to win this contest. And then he's like, yeah, I didn't even grow any. And I'm like, no! The one time I could.
Does that mean you automatically win?
No, everybody else has got stuff, I think. But we're all waiting till the end of the season. I have one burgundy pod that's it's massive. Anyway.
Don't hesitate. Y'all jump into this lifestyle. Stop dipping your toes in. Go ahead. Take a seed, put it in some dirt, water it, and be like Sydney. Talk to it, because that's the only friends he's got. And talk to it, and let it grow up, and
I know you're not eligible, but sorry. Well, look, this is something I want to say real quick. I get frustrated when people will talk about how they totally failed at something. And really, this is all about perspective.
Yeah, you don't fail unless you stop trying.
Not just that, but also if you have let's just say, for instance, you try to plant lettuce in July because it says that you can plant lettuce in July. Well, you plant lettuce in July and it grows, but it tastes horrible. Well, some people might call that a fail. I call that a learning experience. Now you know in your area you don't want to grow lettuce in July. I mean, it's all a matter of, and that's the thing is like, you know, you want to make sure if you have a little journal, write these things down.
Yes.
Remember these things.
Gardening journals. I don't think you can find a gardener that
Good night, Cattywampus.
won't tell you to keep a journal.
Exactly, off kilter. I found 2,000 ways to not make a light bulb.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing is like you just learn what you know, just because you had something fail, it's not really a failure because if you've learned something from it, you're not failing at all.
We've been in this lifestyle almost 12 years now.
Carol's 14, so...
So, like, the first 10 years was riddled with failures. Now we get to have a little, you know, we've learned from it. And we've never given up because each little tiny success we had. Like, I can still remember when we got our first
egg.
egg. It was a white egg. We were in the ghetto of Augusta, Georgia. And our chicken coop was an old outhouse that they cemented the poop chute closed. Mm-hmm. And so we turned it into a chicken coop. Mm-hmm. And we got all of these tiny chickens from a guy at church. And
we hatched them out.
We hatched them out. Mm-hmm. And then they became tiny chickens, and then they started to grow up, and it seemed like they would never lay.
Took forever.
But
that's like 5 months. That's a long time.
But then that day, when I opened up that coop and took a gander, and there was one egg, one little tiny pullet egg. Mm-hmm. And the way that I hooped and carried on, you think I had an ostrich egg with this egg. And we were all like, ha, 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 it's an egg. And so we were all kinds of excited. And then Robin lost her mind when she went to cook it. And so then we had to learn that because it's such a fresh egg, the yolk is going to stand up.
Right.
And so and that was 12, 13 years ago. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. This lifestyle is not just about whether or not you can grow a tomato or not, or you can milk a goat or not, or milk a cow or not, or make bacon. It's all about the journey. So many times in my life that when I was a younger awesome dude, instead of being the old awesome dude that I am today, when I was a younger awesome dude, everybody kept telling me, you know, I have always been the kind of guy that I will set a goal and I will bust my hump to meet said goal. And if I don't meet said goal, I do a hardcore, why did I fail? I'm very critical of myself that way. And everybody, as I was coming up, everybody kept telling me, you're too hard on yourself. Life is not about the goal. It's about the journey, da-da-da-da-da. And that really didn't sink home until we started homesteading. And all of the memories that I get to take to the grave with me, with Blaze riding pigs. When you know, I got to listen to my beautiful bride, my best friend in the whole world, the one that I know the Lord met when He made the mold of Robin. He said, "You're going to go and belong to Jason, and you are going to make it to where he is a better man." I got to listen to her try to milk a cow for the very first time. And she's down there singing "I'll Fly Away," and then you hear the clanging of the bucket, and all of a sudden I thought we were at port, and there was a whole bunch of sailors down in my pasture.
not my best moment.
You know, and I get to take that with me, and Carol Ann learning how to use a hammer because she just wanted to help us build the very first turkey coop, and she was still in diapers and taking the claw hammer and rocking it back and forth, and her little booty was just shaking in the diapers because the diaper made her booty about to be that big. All of these things, and that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. God gave us all of this stuff to do and to be able to grow and to be able to raise and put us in charge. He put us in charge of this planet, and it's for the journey, and that journey is to bring us closer to Him because we see Him in everything that we. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited here. Getting a little excited in everything that we do, and I'm talking about Jesus, and now we're buffering, right?
Yep, that's all right. It's okay. You're back. Well, and even like this year, I took over doing all the planting. And so, like, when I first started having things like actually grow, like, you would see me come in and I would have this Kool-Aid grin on my face. Like, I brought in my first carrot that actually turned into a carrot. It was only about like that big, but I was like dancing a jig.
Can I make a confession right now?
Sure, go ahead.
And with you growing the food this year, that was God humbling me. Because when you first said, I'm going to take over the garden, I'm like,
we're not going to eat.
We're not going to have any food. Because Robin kills cactuses.
I don't.
But then you went out there and you dove into Jess's videos. You dove into gardening books. Every time I turn around, you're listening to podcasts and all that kind of stuff. And wham, stuff started growing.
Like the peas, that was a huge thing because
the carrots were a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because we, for years, like I said, we've been doing this probably 13 years. If we sat down and added it up, because you keep telling me Carol's 14 now, which is right. And she was like, what, 1 or 2 when we started? So we've been doing it a while. We always failed at carrots until last year. No matter what we would do, we would sprinkle the carrots on them and then like take peat moss and go just to lightly cover them, because we always were thinking, oh, we did them too deep, and then they would never come up and they would never do anything. Or if they would sprout, and then they would be just pathetic looking things.
Or covered in weeds, like the whole thing would be weeds and you wouldn't know what was grass and what was carrots.
And we failed, horribly we failed at carrots. And to the point where I was just like, I'm just never going to have a homegrown carrot. I was just getting it in my head. And Rob was like, well, I'm going to go plant a carrot bed. And I'm like, yeah, good luck. Not going to happen. And then you grew these carrots that
like
were...
rows and rows and rows and rows of carrots. I have a 10-foot bed that's only about 3 foot wide or 2.5 feet wide, but I did 2.5-foot rows all the way down that 10-foot bed.
And these weren't tiny carrots that we pulled out of the ground. It looked like the back of Sydney's head, like just huge carrots. And they were tasty, and then this is when it happened. Robin fell in love with bringing color to the garden.
Yeah, we had some black nebulas. We had some cosmic purples. The cosmic purple is funny because, and then there's like a red dragon, I think. But the red one is just the skin is red, but everything else is just a plain orange carrot. But the cosmic purple, if you've grown one, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you cut a cross section of the carrot, it's not just purple on the outside. The inside has orange, but it also has some green. And so it looks almost like a tie-dye, like when you're eating it. It's really cool. And they were very tasty. So carrots were definitely a big thing this year. Radishes did, all of the root vegetables did. We had some turnips that turned out really well, a couple rutabagas. And
so just go out there and plant something. Go out there and do it, and you will get just as excited as I am. We've been in this life for 12 years, and I still get pumped up, and I still get excited when we succeed. I even get pumped up and excited when we fail, because then I'm kind of like, well, we know not to do that again. You know, unless it hurts, because sometimes when you fail, it hurts, and I mean like physical pain. It hurts because you do something stupid like try to jump over the fence, and you're chasing pigs, and it just because it's made out of rotted pallets, and
wax your no-no square. Yeah, just put seeds in the soil.
Yeah,
just get it done,
and enjoy the flavor, the health, and the freedom that comes with it. You guys, we've been on an hour and a half. I still haven't had dinner yet. And so it's time for us to go eat some of the stuff that we grew. So we're going to call it a night. So be kind to one another. I know it's a stressful time in this country with everything that's going on, the civil unrest, the pandemic, the voting, blah, 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 the economy.
Earthquakes,
hurricanes, forest fires.
Derechos.
Just be kind to one another. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost you anything to smile and say good afternoon to somebody, or hold a door for somebody, or if you see an elderly person struggling with some bags of groceries, it doesn't cost you a dime to go over there and help.
Thank you, thinking of
Random
others.
act of kindness. Do it.
Definitely.
Just do it. You make the world a better place when you do that. Recycle, reuse, repurpose. Keep things out of the landfill. Give our wildlife a chance by doing said things. And so from Robin and I here at the Big Bear Homestead, we want to remind you to plant smiles,
grow giggles,
and harvest the love, baby. Yeah. And we will see you guys next week.
Keep an eye out for those videos. They'll be coming out.
Boo! Yeah.
Night, y'all.
We're better than the Naked Gardener.
Here's Scott.